Now let's continue on with the new rhythm. Let's look at example 10, that C chord shape. Remember that hammer-on stuff we were doing on the low string? We'll do it on the third string. So we're going to do this. And if we move that up, it's the D. And then we're going to have a rest in there. So now we're going to leave some space in the rhythm guitar. And we're going to come in on the and of 1. So it'll be like this. 3, 4, 1. Rest. And then we're going to move into the G chord. So if we take this, remember that's our C. So you can see it as a chord shape. You can see it as all part of, the pentatonic thing. Now for the G chord, remember this G chord shape we've been playing around with? We're going to take this third finger that has been on the third of the chord, the B in the G chord. We're going to bring it down to do a hammer on the third string. Remember I told you earlier about like the power chord thing? That's a fifth and a root. So we're kind of bringing in the 6th scale degree and getting back to the 5th. Where here, it's the root and the 3rd of the chord, and we're bringing in the 2nd and getting back to the root. So it'll be this, the G, now that D. So we're keeping everything really on 2 strings. Move it up. Our A. So the trick is going to be, if you're used to playing C like this, you got to think about it differently and hit less strings. And if you're, the habit of playing G like this, now we want to target that shape. And this is going to come into a lick later. We have this as our G, and we're hammering our 3rd finger on the 3rd string. And getting back to that, okay? So it'll be 3, 4, 1. So I'm kind of pulling back so you can see what's on the end of the beat. But let me play it with the track so you can hear it. Again, 2, 3, 4, 1. So we're entering on the end of the beat. That's like real Keith Richards territory too. So we're just looking for those E's again. 1 and. It's gonna feel kind of weird coming in on the and. We've been doing so much on the downbeat, so just follow me. Sometimes it's a really good idea just to lay out and let a chord go by, let the bass player have it. Create some space. So I just played the C and the D that time. It's not a mistake. Everyone else is playing the right thing. You can just let it go. You don't have to play all the time. Us guitar players are really guilty of that. So just play around with that. You don't have to hit every chord. You don't have to hit every lick. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the full rhythm, and I'm going to bring in idea 8 that we learned. Again. Now I think it's worth trying that at a faster tempo where you have to come in on the end of the beat and get used to it. So let's do that, and I'm just going to keep it on this idea at 8 for right now because we're going to learn idea 9 here in a second. That'll give us some more options. So let's try that same thing at a faster tempo. Remember, play hard and soft. You don't always have to hammer those things. Now I'll kind of ebb and flow a little more. Same idea. So what I'm doing, I'm hitting the first one hard, soft, soft, and then I'm varying if this is hard or soft. That's going to create more interest in your playing. That's why Hendrix is so great at being so dynamic. All right, I think you get the idea. Okay, let's look at this this new position here to come up with some new licks. Look at idea 9. We're going to get some work on this hammer-on thing. So we're going to get pick hammer. So it's going to be quick like that, like. And it's a triplet, so we have to squeeze in 3 notes in the place that we would normally do 2. So like if we're playing eighth notes, 1 and 2, and with a triplet, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, da, da. So we're not speeding up. We're just putting in 3, da, 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 2, 3, da, 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 da. So we're not speeding up and slowing down. We're just putting mathematically more notes in that space. Now, on this lick, you can, if the hammer-on is really tough to do, you can just hit that 7 and just strike it again. You can go hammer, 2, 3, hammer, 2, 3. But try to do this. And if it's too fast in the track, just notice my right hand. I'm alternate picking. This is why we're working on those exercises. I'm not going. That's too harsh of a right hand attack. We want it smooth, so you want to get used to being able to mix up what you're doing with either hand. Okay, so we're going to do that rhythm 10. Example 10 for the rhythm part, and we're going to bring in this new idea 9 for the lick. Here we go. Okay, now I'm just going to pick the note. If the hammer-on's hard for you, see, that's totally fine to do it that way. It still sounds good. See the difference? I picked it that time. All right, let's look at a new idea here. We might bounce around with some rhythms here because if you look at the rhythm sheets, we've only got about 4 more, but we have some more licks to learn. So I want to push through some more of these ideas. We're going to stick around this shape and maybe start mixing up some of the rhythm stuff. So this one, we'll start at the top of that pattern, this guy. We're going to do this pull-off thing. So remember that 8 we were doing up here? Right? It's the same 8, but now instead of coming down to this root note, this E, we're going to come down to this one, right? Same idea, and you can do this a half bend. You can do a full bend. But for right now, we'll just do this little quarter thing. So the lick will sound like this. We have 2 beats, 1, 2. So I'll do it in time now. Now here's something that used to confuse me about licks like this. For some reason, and I think this happens to a lot of people, I know why. I was seeing everything out of that first pattern. So if you're in the key of A, this lick would work. Because this could work out of A minor pentatonic. You're just bringing in the 9th. I didn't know that at the time, but you'll see Hendrix do that a lot too. So instead of seeing this as if it were like an E-based lick, like out of this scale, I was seeing it like as a variation out of this scale. That caused me a lot of problems. And same with the idea 8. I could see this bend as if it were out of E, but I was trying to impose that down here. I didn't know how to find these notes across the neck. So I was just, when I was first learning guitar, dragging that first shape around and trying to apply everything to it. So this is a really common out of that third pattern that we've learned, that pentatonic scale. Okay, so we're going to bring that one in with the recording. We've been doing that one rhythm quite a bit. So let's try going back to just our chords. And then we're going to go. All right, let's revisit. We haven't done anything with any muting for a minute. So let's revisit this thing with the chords. And then if you want to leave that mute off, that last chord, so you can think about getting into the lick, that's fine. So you can go. You don't have to do the extra if you don't want to. Okay, so let's try this with the track. We'll do that rhythm, that is example 5, and we'll do it with this new idea 10 for the lick, and then we're going to cycle through. We're going to go 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, and kind of work those in. Okay, here we go. Remember to play hard and soft. Now I'm going to hit the rhythm a little softer. Next time around, we'll do idea 8. Let's do that one again. Now we'll do idea 9. Playing harder. That same thing. Backing off a little. You can do what you want. One more time on that one. It's a tough one. Okay, where else could we find that? Right here. So let's try that. It's not written down. We're just going to take this idea and move it up. Here we go. Again. Remember, that's the same notes. Here. Here's idea 10. Notice on my vibrato, I'm starting slow and speeding up. Slow, speed up. That's something to try too. So at the end there, I just kind of combined idea 10 with idea 8 since it was fading. Okay, now let's move on. Same E minor pentatonic location. Now we're going to do this. We're going to slide into that 7. Remember we were pulling this 5 earlier? Now we're going to start low. And again, we're going to come in on the and of the 1. So before, when we were coming in on the and of the 1 on that rhythm part, we're going to do that on the lead part now. So we'll get 1, 2. 1, 2. So you have to time the arrival of this, the 5th of the chord. It's on the and of the beat. A lot of people will feel uncomfortable with that, so they're going to they push that to the downbeat, and then the rest of the lick shifts into a weird place. So try to think 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and beat 4, beat 1. So this is beat 3, 4, 1. Okay, let's try that with the track. And let's do a different rhythm. Let's do example 7, this guy. Okay, and then we have to slide into this. So before we had a high lick. Now we have a low one. Okay, so example 7. Idea 11. Okay, let's work that in with the recording. So notice how I'm playing with the dynamics. Backing off, backing off. I played that one pretty quiet. I'll play this one harder. So I played the rhythm part much more quiet and then really hammered the lick. Just repeated it. Do it twice. So if you feel like you have the space and you want to repeat an idea, you should do it. Just be aware of where you have to get out. And if you need to shift the rhythm sooner to pull that off, do that. That's fine. Okay, now let's do the exact same thing. Same rhythm, but with a faster tempo, with the recorded tempo. And then we might cycle through ideas 8, 9, and 11. Let's do this. We can skip that hammer one. I know that's pretty tough. So let's do 8, 10, 11. 8, 10, 11 for the licks. Okay, so this is example 7. We're going to speed it up. Again. Repeat. This time we're going to bring in idea 8. Let's do that one again. Now let's do idea 10. Same thing. So I repeated it that time. I just felt like I had the space and I could pull it off. Do it again. But see, now I'm bleeding into the next chord, but it works because that's an E note. That's an E note in the C chord. So here comes the C chord. So this lick, this is the E we're sliding into, or we're hammering. E, E, E. Get out. So we didn't get to idea 11. We're going to do that again. But I wanted to start playing around with that example 10. Instead of waiting 2 beats to come in, I shifted it over a beat so I had more time so that I could repeat the lick. Those are things you can start to play around with too, is like how far can you push it? Where do you come in to finish the idea that you started? And use the backing track as kind of your sparring partner, where it's just playing and you're trying to finesse these licks. So let's do that one again at a fast tempo, because I want you to work in this idea 11 where we're doing things on the lower string. So here we go. Repeat. So that's a variation on idea 8. I'll play it straight. Next time we're going to do idea 10. This time idea 11. Let's look at idea 12, and we're going to learn a couple more out of this this position before we get into the next position. So if we look at idea 12, remember when we were doing this bend? Idea 8. Now we're going to do this. You don't have to hold that 5 down. We're just going to go. Now, this one used to really confuse me too for the same reason. I thought it was A minor, right? So I was trying to make sense of like this scale, this common bend in that scale. I didn't know it was coming from this scale. So this thing that we did in the solo up here, right? Different notes, but in the same key, you can do this. And we're going to start moving this around in a second. But let's get this idea. And remember, you can bring in any of these other licks we've been working on if you want to mix it up, and I might do that as well. We might revisit some old ones. Let's jump back into this thing, example 8, where we're sliding into the thirds, okay? And then we're going to go. Here we go. Vibrato on the top if you can. So I just played it harder that time. Same lick. Now this time we're going to play idea 8 and then idea 12. Here comes idea 8. now the new lick. Now idea 8 again with that grindy bend. So it's just kind of a variation on it. All right, let's look at idea 13. Now, before on idea 8, we were going up. Now we're going to do that same hammer, but we're going to come down and look for that minor third and pull to the, give it a little bit of a pull to the major side. And we're going to hang out on that root note, that E we've been looking for quite a bit now. So I go fingers 1, 4, pull, third finger. And if you have time, you might be able to get 2 of these in there. So you know what? Let's go all the way back to rhythm 1. So it'll be less chord heavy and kind of more single note stuff. So this is example 1 with idea 13. So I did 2. I'll do 1 this time. Now notice the 7 is coming on the end of the beat, the E, just like that. So this is the end of 3. This is the end of 4, but you could put the 7 on the downbeat. It's okay, you can massage that. So I'm gonna keep everything on the and here. So this is how it's written. So that is on the and of the beat, okay? See how it kind of pushes and pulls against the rhythm a little? Against what the band is doing? Okay, now I'm going to take that 7, I'm going to put it on the downbeat. I think that feels better, but I wanted to write it that way and show you how you can do the push and pull thing, but sometimes it's just gonna feel weird. See, that part was okay because I didn't hammer the 7. Now I'll play as written. See that? I was a little late on it. Now I'm gonna put it on the downbeat. It gives me more pull on this minor third. I'm really stretching it out. I'll put it on the downbeat. Right on the downbeat. Now watch what I'm gonna do this time. I'm gonna do this hammer on thing at the end. And I get out. So you can see how after a while you have these licks under your fingers and you know exactly where you are, and this stuff will start to fall out and you'll just start to play this stuff. You'll start to be able to move between these licks and mix these up without having to think about it. That's what we're looking for. That's why the repetition is so important, is because you really have to know these so that you can pull them apart and rephrase them. Okay, let's look at idea number 14. And this is a lick that's right out of the recording. So we're still in this third place, this third pattern, if you want, a third box, whatever you want to call it. It's just all E minor pentatonic up the neck. So now we're just starting to blur things together. So this next lick, again, is going to be on the and of 2, and it goes kind of a funky little offbeat thing. And a 2, you wait through beat 3, and a beat 3, slight pull, land on beat 4. So 1, 2. 1, 2. So that's going to be the lick. So let's work that in the recording, and let's look for a new rhythm here. How about example 6, this guy. 1, 2, 2, 3. Now notice that E note, that's what we're going to slide into. 1, 2. All right, let's try that. One, two. So I got 2 in that time. See how I've been kind of working around where I'm doing the pull, where I'm coming in. Okay, now I'm going to play it as written and then maybe repeat it. So I might have to nudge it over, but I'm going to try to keep it as written and just do it twice. But you have to know where you are in the progression. See how I'm squeezing it in? But that means when I repeat it, I've got to get to that C right away. Right there. Now see how these are starting to blur together? We've got this idea, and we've got this one. That's idea 11, right? So you should be trying to move in between these two. You don't have to do them in order. You can do them randomly. Idea 11, right? Into idea 14. It makes for a pretty great little combination on the low strings, and we're getting a lot of really good information just out of this, these three strings. All right, so we're gonna take a little break here, and then come back. We're gonna move up, and we're gonna learn another position for this E minor pentatonic. We're gonna learn a couple more rhythm ideas. We're gonna learn some more of these licks. We've got a couple more rhythm ideas I want to push through. I think like 3 more, and then we're gonna work out some more licks, and we're gonna start putting some of these pieces together and bouncing around a bit. So I'll see you in a second, and we'll start there.